Have we lost sight of our Jewish heritage, do you think, as Christians today?
I think we probably have, actually. I mean, obviously, we started off very strongly Jewish, a Jewish sect we were known as, and then it became very much Gentile-dominated, the church. So I think, yes, we probably have in that process.
Right.
It's not necessarily what God intended. I think we've lost something in that because we have our roots there, we have our history there, and there are all sorts of patterns. The way God deals with his people is possibly in similar ways. So if we don't understand our heritage, I think we miss out on an awful lot of these truths and this richness.
And I'm fascinated by the fact that Messianic Jewish people have a deeper understanding of all the symbolism and understanding of so many other things, and are able to connect a lot of things between Old and New Testament that many modern Christians can't do.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's what I've been discovering over recent years. And it's a whole new world to me. But all of a sudden, yes, that information is there. There are people who obviously connect in through their own culture. And so are very interested in that. And we can learn so much. I think as a Christian community, there needs to be more where we're actually communicating these truths together.
Now, you headed out to Israel for the first time some 3 years ago to study the Holocaust. I assume you went to Yad Vashem.
Yad Vashem, that's
yes,
right.
Amazing Holocaust museum, a very moving place. Did that have a powerful impact on you?
Yes, it did. I mean, we're from a Jewish community, and we had that opportunity because of that. And so I think my husband had already been, and he said to me, "You have to go." And yes, I mean, it was very powerful. It was a very intense study while we were there. And
specifically a study trip then?
Sorry. Oh yes, it was a week-long study trip.
Okay.
So we spent most of our time at Yad Vashem.
Right.
So you obviously can't fail to be moved by that. Hearing survivors' story, meeting survivors, it was extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you talk, you've got a slightly Jewish look about you. Other people said that to you?
They have.
Yes.
I don't think I am.
Yes. No. Well, it's you don't have a particularly light skin. You have darker hair, and I'm sure you could pass in the streets of Jerusalem as a resident.
Yes.
Very, very well. What knowledge of Israel did you have about the trip, prior to the trip, I should say?
Much to my shame, not very much, I think.
Right.
I was even, when I saw the walls of Jerusalem, I hadn't seen pictures of them. To that extent, I didn't know Israel very well. I had a general idea, obviously, of the history, and I knew the significance of Israel up to a certain point. But no, I didn't know very much about Israel.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, those walls are only a few hundred years old, aren't they? They're not the original ones,
no.
apart from the Western Wall. Yeah. Where it was that you had this incredible experience.
Yes,
Tell us about that.
Well, obviously we were studying most of the time, and it was a very, very short trip into the old city, and I wasn't expecting this at all. We were just wandering around, and it was just a normal tourist tour, really. And I had a note which a lady had given to me. So a lady in our Jewish community had asked me to put a note into the Western Wall.
Which is a tradition that many Jewish people do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
They roll up a note and stick it in a crevice in the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was quite glad I had this. It gave me something to do. So I walked up to this wall, and it was as I put the note in, and I just stood amongst the predominantly Jewish Orthodox women. And I had the most incredible encounter with God. Something extraordinary happened. It was totally unexpected. I don't know why it was there. But I just felt that God spoke to me very, very deeply. He just touched my heart, and I felt I had a glimpse of God's heart.
Right.
And it was for the people, and it was for the place. I felt in all of that He was saying, I love these people, and I love this place.
Yeah.
And it was an invitation to explore. I just felt I didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
I just thought, okay, I've got to dig. I know I've got to dig, and I've got to find out what He's saying to me. So that started something quite significant in my life.
And did you remain just in Jerusalem? Oh, you were going to Yad Vashem, so you were just around the Jerusalem area.
We went to Galilee as well.
Oh, you went up to Galilee?
Yeah, we did, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And as you stood on and looked around the various hills and mountains around Jerusalem, something prompted you to look afresh at what the Bible has to say about all that?
Yes, I mean, I think when you're there as well, I think anyone who goes there, I mean, it has been described as the fifth gospel. Just being in the land just brings it alive to you, and I think it does change things. So you start thinking about it in a much deeper way. And I think most people who come back from Israel come back changed, significantly changed, and want to find out more, and certainly want to dig deeper into their Bibles. For me, I knew God was saying to me, I need you to find out about what I've just said to you.
Right.
I've given you a glimpse of my heart. Now go and find out more.
Because it wasn't anything particularly significant, except I want you to go deeper. I want you to find out more.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And I think, the right thing to do is to go back to Scripture, which is what I did.
Okay. And what have you discovered in digging a little deeper?
Well, what I've discovered is what I can see is that the chosen people, so use this phrase, are the chosen people still chosen? And I don't think that God has finished with Israel. I think there is a tendency amongst some Christians to say, well, okay, that was for that time, and then it was the new covenant, and then it's the Gentile church, and maybe some Jews may come into that. I think the picture is a lot different to that. I think actually God has a grand plan. And he is intending to do something more with the Jews. He is intending, and I think we can see this in Scripture, particularly through Paul. Romans 11 is very clear on this, that God is going to do something significant with the Jewish people. And what I see is there is something that is starting to happen. As I stand in Israel, as I stood in Israel, looked around me at this incredible nation that has blossomed so significantly, so quickly,
Yes.
God is doing something.
Why not start your day with Inspirational Breakfast, Monday to Fridays from 7 a.m, only on Premier Christian Radio, where faith comes to life.